mission now. I'm on a mission now. I'm on a mission now. I'm on a mission now.
Okay, so this is a fly that I sort of stumbled upon fishing for blacktail along the Cape South Coast. It's kind of a Charlie pattern, you know, so it's got a bit of sort of everything in it. It's part clouser, part Charlie, but I use it for fishing for blacktail, and we've caught a number of fish on this fly, including wildepaard, Cape bream, Garantine, Learies, and yeah, a bunch of other things. I tie it in different sizes, some smaller, and I also I use different weights, but I'll get to that. So the materials that I use for this fly are the following. I'm using, I need to put my glasses on for this. This Ahrex shrimp hook, which is ideal shape, length, and weight for this fly. The weight that I'm going to use is for this one is a sort of a fairly heavy tungsten bead, but I use a different size weight as well. I use smaller tungsten bead. I use brass beads, sometimes colored brass beads if I want to add a color like a pink brass bead. And then I go down to even using, for very skinny water, I'm using the smallest dumbbells that I can find. Basically, what it is, it's a tail wing tied on the bottom of the hook like traditional clouser. Then I build up a body of thread. Then comes the dumbbell eye, and then the overwing. And the 2 strands of Christal flash. Very simple fly, but incredibly effective. So apart from the hook and the dumbbells that you'll need some super glue. The thread that I use is Danville's 140 denier pink thread. It's very specific, this color. The tail is calf tail in white. And the overwing is calf tail in like a ginger color called, the one from Hairline is called the root beer color of calf tail. You can also use tan calf tail, which works good as well, but I find the root beer has got more of a shimpy color to it. So that is the one that I'm going to use today. The inspiration for this fly is stuff that I see when I fish those in the tidal zones. It's very much like tidal flats. You know, when the tide is out, there's no water on the flats, or sometimes just very skinny water. And then when the tide pushes over these flats, the fish come in and feed on whatever I suppose they can find. So when I arrive and it's still low tide, I go around and I pick up rocks to see what I can find there. And there's a number of things that live under those rocks. There are shrimps, small fish, and a lot of crabs. But I also found a number of small sort of it's not a sand prawn, it's not a mud prawn, it's small shrimp. So I think the blacktail are very sort of opportunistic in whatever they find there. So I think there's a lot of shrimpy, prawny things that swim around as soon as the tide starts pushing. And I don't think I'm really matching the hatch here. I think I'm just pulling a lot of triggers. You know, they can maybe see it for a small sprat. They can see it for a shrimp, which is actually what I see it. But yes, it's very effective. So my idea with the fly also is like the white tail extends further than the overwing, so that it's a pink prawn with white nippers. That's kind of like what my thinking behind the thing is. So that the tip of it is white and the rear of it is like hues of pink, and the overwing can be sort of the shell back of the prawn and feelers and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put down a thread foundation and tie in the dumbell eyes. The dumbell eyes will be as close to the front of the hook as possible, but keeping in mind to leave quite a bit of space for the head of the fly to finish off the fly. So it can't be very close to the front of the hook. That I'm going to do is to tie in the tail. What I've also done is I've put a bit of super glue on the thread base just to give the tail something to sort of grab onto. Okay, the thing with the tail is it should be longer than the overwing. I'm removing the sort of guard ears and just keeping the longer bits. But this is quite a long calf tail. All calf tail are different. I'm judging by that I need to cut off a little piece. And you want it sparse. You don't want sort of a paintbrush at the back. Sparser is better with this fly. I promise you that. And now I'm tying in the tail, the white tail, and I'm happy with that length. And also what I'm doing here is I'm going to be building up a bit of a body for this fly. I'm going to tie in a lot of thread, so it must be like a little fat belly to this fly. It's not just wrapping the thread in, it's really building a little body here. And before I finish this, what I like to do is I'd like to put some super glue on the thread and sort of wrap it around the body. It's amazing to see how quickly blacktail will start eating up your fly, and they will literally rip the thread off your fly. So if it's not tied, if it's not super glued in, it will kind of start falling apart after like 10 or 15 blacktail. At this stage, I kind of like to invert the fly, or you need to invert it. And the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to tie in the tan overwing. Now, important with the tan overwing is when I tie it in, it mustn't extend past the tail. In fact, I like the tail to extend just past the bend of the hook, and that the majority of the bit sticking out the back is the white tail. The other thing that I will do is I will build up a little thread dam here, just behind the dumbbells, so that the overwing has a little bit of a ramp to stick it up towards the, at an angle. A little bit too many hairs, and I'll just pull a few out. Then I will add a drop of super glue here, and then secure the whole bunch with some thread wraps. And I like to build up the head so that it's kind of a chunky head. And then you will notice that the hairs on most of the calf tails, the hairs at the tip of the calf tail is very long compared to the hairs at the base, which is much shorter. Now what I like to do is with the top wing out, it must be shorter than the tail, but what I like to do is just to take a very little bit, I mean like really just a handful of fibers, and tie them in as well, just to give it a little bit of kind of sort of like almost like feelers or something at the on top of the tan or root beer wing. The last thing I'm going to do with this fly is just to add 2 strands of crystal flash on either side of the top wing. And then finally I'm just going to whip finish and glue off, seal it off with some super glue. Very quick, very easy, but a highly effective all-round fly for species like blacktail, zebra, and such. Steve Austin.